I'm going to explain exactly how I make $1,000 a day oftentimes, but I still manage to be broke. Okay, the first reason is because, quite frankly, not every day is an $1,000 day. If every day I made $1,000, and I'm talking just grossing $1,000, or hell, even profiting, which, that happens some days where we profit 1,000. Yeah, I wouldn't be broke, but it's just not an everyday thing. As the business grows, it's more and more common. And yeah, I have a lot of $1,000 days that I don't show on the channel, but the majority of them I do because they're the most interesting. I get to put $1,000 a day in the title, and I get to tell you guys exactly how I did it. But I also document, really bad weeks and bad days, and then I explain that it's not every day. So yeah, not every day is an $1,000 day. All right, another reason why I'm still broke is initial setbacks of being too cheap. You guys should have already saw it coming. I talk about being too cheap in every video, but I definitely think this kept me broke. For example, if I dabbled in Google ads, it would wipe out my account and not be worth it because I wasn't charging high enough to make a return and afford ads or anything like that. Another example is I was too cheap, not charging the right prices, and then a big expense would come up and it would wipe my bank account. So I was never able to get ahead with the too cheap prices, and that's fine if you're a contractor, but I want to be a business owner and grow this thing. So I feel like I could be a lot farther if I didn't do that. All right, so the next reason, and this ties into initial setbacks again, is because I had a learning curve, guys. I had to pay the stupid tax. Part of that was being too cheap, and the other part was learning what it means to run a business. You don't know what you don't know, so I had to pay the stupid tax. Basically, I made a lot of mistakes and I had to go through learning. I didn't understand sales. I didn't understand how to run a business. Honestly didn't understand how to drive a truck and trailer. But yeah, part of it, ties into the last point, which was I had to pay the stupid tax because I didn't charge enough prices. Had to pay the stupid tax because I didn't understand Google ads, and I didn't understand what worked in the business. I didn't know that yard signs at that point in time might be the best thing. I was trying different advertising sources out that weren't really working out, and that's just part of business and learning and growing. So yeah, I had to pay the stupid tax. If I would have just started out with yard signs and the basic stuff at first and not paid advertising, maybe I wouldn't be broke today. But let's continue. That was just the initial stuff. Now let's move on to more modern stuff. Oh, by the way, I still pay stupid tax on the daily for sure. Okay, the next reason, and I'm just being totally honest, is because discipline, or the lack thereof of discipline. If I had more discipline, I definitely wouldn't be as broke as I am today. There's this weird kind of gray period, transitional period, where, you don't have a boss waking you up in the morning and you become your own boss. And what do we do on weekends when we're working a 9 to 5? We usually chillax unless you're working for something else. So there's kind of a weird curve there, especially with me having lack of discipline. I've definitely grown in discipline. But yeah, on days when your schedule is full of jobs all week, it's pretty easy to wake up and be disciplined because you have to go do the jobs. But on days where there's no jobs and you got to figure out what you're going to do every single day and put your best foot forward, I definitely could have been better in that regard, more disciplined in putting out signs and doing everything. And the next reason, which ties into the reason I believe at times I don't have the best discipline, is because conviction. So here's what I mean by that. So to be a good salesman and to honestly be a good business owner, you have to have conviction in your product and that what you're doing is right. These people want this service. These people need it. And part of it is kind of a brainwashing that you do, even though it sounds bad. And because it sounds bad, I didn't have full conviction in what I was doing was right. And as a matter of fact, I had conviction in that what I was doing was wrong, and this is in part because of my growth in faith with the Lord. I was really questioning, am I focusing on money too much? Am I focusing on sales too much? And I really had to work through that. And I'm not going to be as disciplined if I'm not doing what I believe is right, and my why, the reason why I'm doing it, isn't strong enough. So I really do believe that held me back, but I do think I've worked through that now. I've talked to basically, Christian mentors and people who are ahead of me in their Christian journey. explaining, these verses about serving two masters and, what God says about money. And, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm doing it because I want to be a provider. And yeah, I just believe I worked through that, but that's definitely something that held me back for sure. The next reason, more tangible, and that is honestly due to life expenses. Okay, and by life expenses, I mean like traveling, just spending a little bit too much, even getting married, buying newer cars like that. So it can definitely set you back. And I've always considered myself, a frugal financial person, but I made a lot of exceptions. I'm in Missouri. My family is in Florida and Arizona. They constantly ask me to come see them, and I don't regret going on the trips that I went on to see them. So we went to Mexico was the most expensive thing. I'm sure if you can imagine plane tickets, the hotel, everything you're spending while you're there. And then we also got engaged while we were there, so a ring as well. And then this year in July, we got married. So if you can imagine, even though it was a small wedding, if you can imagine the expenses that are involved with that. And then shortly after, I helped my fiance purchase a newer car. We purchased it. It was a good deal. It's from her father, but still, all these I honestly do not regret, but it most definitely is a contributing factor to keeping me broke. Because if I didn't spend that money, that would have gone directly in investments in the business, and that number would be somewhere in the five figures for sure. So, but again, I don't regret it. Mexico was amazing. I wanted to do things God's way. That's why we got married. It was totally blessed. Okay, short story really quick. July 17th, 2022, my girlfriend got baptized. July 17th, 2023, I proposed to her in Mexico by coincidence. July 17th, 2024, we got married. So if that's not providential, I don't know what is. But yeah, definitely set me back, but overall, I don't regret it at all. I'm glad I did things the way I did. And yeah, I'm glad I made those memories with my family while I'm young so I can enjoy them the rest of my life. But that's a decision that you guys will have to make. Is it worth it for you? I don't know. It was worth it for me, at least right now. That's what I'm saying. So definitely is probably part of the reason I'm still broke. And again, it's all on me. Like that was my choice. That was my doing. And I'm honestly okay with that. But it definitely contributed to me still being somewhat broke. So yeah, I'm basically broke because I'm a simp, but whatever. Also, if you hear this, guys, this is not wine. This is grape juice. I don't drink, but I'm drinking this right now on the couch. Okay, and the last point is honestly because of vehicle expenses. I guess you could tie it into personal expenses, but it's really a business expense. So yeah, vehicle expenses. If you saw my old POS truck, I got rid of it, but yeah, that thing was breaking down all the time, costing me money. Now I have this diesel that's definitely more reliable, but it's a diesel. It's expensive. I've put 2 new batteries in it. It takes 2. I just put tires on this week, so that was $700. And then it is having major suspension issues because of the lift. So that's I don't even know how much, but it's probably going to be multiple grand to fix that. And we fixed other things, the power steering, and just, random miscellaneous things. And that's kind of just part of this business, but to account for, maybe I shouldn't think this way, but I think, if I got a newer vehicle, like I'm probably looking at $1,000 a month with the payment and insurance, or I can keep this vehicle and spend $1,000 a month. So I think it's going to be the same level of hard no matter what I choose to do. But it definitely feels like at times that's a bank account drainer that sets me back. Conclusion, guys, that's why I'm broke. I hope you can learn from me. Hopefully this video helped. The video wasn't too discouraging, and hopefully it didn't come off as me complaining. I really do desire more out of life, and I will always keep learning and keep trying to succeed. I'm not going to stop. But that being said, I'm totally content with where I'm at. I have a roof over my head. I have this little guy here. I'm married. I have a connection with my family. I have a connection to the Lord. I have vehicles that even if they break down, I have a couple I can drive around, right? So it depends what you mean by broke. And what I mean by broke is that I struggle to keep multiple thousands in my bank account, and I'm not out. I'm still treading water. I'm still pushing through. I just struggle to keep my bank account up and struggle to invest in the business. But hey, hopefully that's realistic for you guys. I do think my situation is going to improve year over year. And if it doesn't, so be it. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching and peace out.